right, we're going to get started with our February 28th chapter presidents meeting. Thank you guys for logging in today. If you have not already introduced yourself in the chat, please do so, especially as there's some different names on the accounts that are logged in today or numbers. That helps us just to see who all's here and to get to know everybody who's joining in for the president's meeting today. The recording has just started, and we'll share the slides and the notes from this meeting when it's done. The person who has volunteered to take notes today is our new program aide, Kelly Mundy. Kelly, when you're in a spot to share your video and introduce yourself, please do so. Kelly joined our team about 2 weeks ago. She is taking on the role that Annabelle Moore vacated as she moved into a new position with the U.S. Forest Service. So Kelly, you want to tell us just a little bit about yourself real fast?
Just real quick, I did my bachelor's at Texas A&M Kingsville in Range and Wildlife Management, and then I did my master's at Sul Ross State University, also in Range and Wildlife Management. The past year, I worked under Dr. Megan Clayton, doing some of the herbarium entries, so you may have gotten some emails from me asking for volunteers on those. And then currently now I'm the program aide for Texas Master Naturalist. So
Wonderful. So we're excited to have Kelly on our team. She's starting to rock and roll already, getting things worked out on our website, on our events pages, our social media. So you guys will see more of a presence from her as she launches into some new projects and programs for us. So please help us to welcome Kelly. She's got an official email address now, and she'll be helping us throughout the upcoming 25th anniversary year for us. All right. So getting into our meeting today, as we mentioned earlier, this meeting I think is going to run a little bit short. We've got a lot of the same content that we covered last month and some resources here. So hopefully this will give you guys a little bit of time back today on what is, at least here in Giddings, a beautiful day outside. Michelle, will you kick us off with the less than fun and glamorous part, the adoption of governing documents?
It's not less than fun, it's wonderful. It gets everybody, so the updated documents gets all of our Master Naturalist chapters on the same page, operating under the same protocols, and everybody's happy doing so. No surprise to you, we've been talking about the updated governing documents for the program since last July. It might be new to you if you're new to your president's role, but as a reminder, the governing documents, we are requesting that everything be in process or in place by tomorrow morning or tomorrow close of business. So March 1st was the deadline for most of the governing documents to be adopted and fully in place at your chapter level. As a reminder, everything that was updated in the past year included our code of ethics and standards of conduct, the bylaws, the chapter management operation and protocols, and our chapter operating handbook. So the top 3 bullets there are mandatory documents. Nothing is to be changed in those documents except for in the chapter bylaws. There's 2 or 3 places that you are allowed to provide different elections. And then the chapter operating handbook is somewhat customizable, and most of the chapters are working through those now. All of the governing documents are on our website. So all the templates and everything is on our website. And I think Mary Pearl is going to drop the link there for all of the governing documents. I'm going to go to the next slide.
Yep.
And so we did not update this slide. There has been even more updates to this slide from the last time. This slide here is actually from the last meeting. And we didn't even go through that this morning as to how many have adopted, but we've heard from a lot of you since the last meeting in January. And I would say the majority, if not all of our chapters are in some process of completing all of these. So I think the third that we didn't hear from yet at the last meeting, we did hear from you during that meeting or slightly afterwards. And everybody is in the process now. Just another reminder that we gave an extension to chapters to have those adopted by March 1st.
And there's some comments in the chat, Michelle, about additional extensions or confirmation of submission. And so one of the things that you see there in the middle is that we'll be emailing all of our chapters based off of kind of what stage you're in. So have we heard from you yet? Have we not gotten them yet? And are they submitted and completed? So that email is still pending from us to confirm receipt of all of those documents, and then a second email to those who have not finished that process yet. So that is still pending from us. We did talk through this one.
And just a reminder of the future upcoming timelines, I guess, for reviews of the governing documents. When we started this process 2 or 3 years ago, we established that we would be moving, or we have moved to a 3-year cycle on the documents because it's just not feasible to review them and update them every year. So 2023 is our first year of operating under all the new documents. And we will continue to do so through 2025, but collect input and feedback through a form that we developed on the documents. And then we will, in summer of 2025, our plan is to review the feedback that has been submitted over all of that time, and then make any updates as needed or required to be completed in fall of 2025. So, and this is the kind of the 3-year cycle we're looking at in perpetuity so far for the governing documents of the Master Naturalist Program. The important piece to that slide was the form, and that's been dropped in the chat already. If you have questions or suggestions for further edits for the 2025 version, that form is where we are collecting all of that.
I'm dropping that form in the chat now.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay.
And then the other items, so there's a still additional items in the entire suite of our program documents that we are still working on this year. And those include an update of the marketing and brand identity guidelines. And it says, so show this page. Were we going to show that page?
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit buried.
Yeah. So as a reference, let me go back to the home page here. So from our home screen, our chapter documents page is now our landing page for all the things documents related. And so scrolling down here, you can use this table of contents to jump to those documents directly, or you can scroll. That governing documents adoption process that we talked about is here on this page, right under this link. And then the form that she referenced is at the very bottom, and that is the governing documents feedback form. And then we talked about the brand guide is also under this additional operating resources, and that is right here. And actually the brand guide ends up being on the website in 3 different places because it's that important. So it's also on our brand and marketing page.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Any questions in the chat? I hadn't looked yet.
Not on that.
Okay. Okay. Do you want me to cover this one, or do you want to do this one too, Michelle?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So some more kind of we've had this exact slide at our January meeting, but we wanted to just kind of follow back through with some of these questions that we've been receiving about training hours policy. We are not using the temporary training policy anymore that we developed during the COVID years. When we went through the process of updating the CMOP, we added in the ability for chapters to manage their advanced training hours based off of the guidelines within the CMOP section 4.1 and 5.5 that you see referenced here, specific to opportunities hosted via web. And so there is no more cap or max or min for hours done online versus in person, as there has been done in the past and was worked through our temporary training policy. Some of the exceptions or the specific areas that we get questions on is in reference to our TMN Tuesday events and our annual meeting events. So with our TMN Tuesdays, your members are allowed to watch those as live or as recordings and log those based off the calendar year in which they happened. So they are calendar year series. And so watching the TMN Tuesdays from 2023 can be counted in 2023 hours. And I have an FAQ on that here in just a little bit. So counting 2022 TMN hours, our 2022 TMN Tuesdays, if you watch one of those now, they no longer count for advanced training hours because that was a series within that calendar year of 2022. Great resources, but cannot be used outside of those calendar years.
And that's why we chose to keep those up and still available on the YouTube channel too. It's great information and there for you to reference. Just if it's past the year, just not able to report it as advanced training.
Yep, exactly. And then you can see our policy on the 2022 annual meeting. This is changing for the 23 annual meeting because it does create some difficulty for chapters to log those hours as it rolls over the calendar year split. And so the 23 annual meeting, those events at the 23 annual meeting that may be offered hybrid, we're still working on that process, will be able to be watched within that calendar year for 2023. So by December 31st, 2023, which shortens it, but only about 20 days or so. Okay. And all of this is recorded on our notes. Will be on the website with the recording of this month's meeting and last month's meeting as well, if you need it for reference.
Okay, another reminder, we mentioned all of this last month regarding the pins ordering. So recertification pins and milestone pins are all ordered through the website. And the form is there on the website. I think Mary Priel will drop it into the chat. And a reminder on everything that's ordered will be collected for the month and sent out at the end of the month or immediately after month's end. So you may have, your chapter might have put in an order on February 1st, but until the month closes, we're not going to send those out until the end of the month. The only exception to that is, again, in September, October, or for September, October, and really for the rest of the year, we're going to send a notice out to chapters to order your pins for the remainder of the year, and those will be hand delivered to you, to your chapter at the annual meeting. This year the annual meeting's in McAllen, so the idea is that we're using that as an opportunity to save on shipping costs and save a lot of money on shipping costs to you there, if we can hand deliver it. So be looking for end of September, October orders, a notice from us for you to get your order in, so that they would be hand delivered at the annual meeting. And then another note is that any award over 4,000 hours and over, those currently come to me. And if it's a Presidential Volunteer Service Award, that typically takes about 6 weeks for it to come in and then for me to get it back out again. So at the 4,000 hour mark, our volunteers get a 4,000 hour Dragonfly pin and then a Presidential Volunteer Service Award pin as a for all their hours as a Texas Master Naturalist. I have to order those pins from the White House, and I cannot order those before the person reaches the 4,000 hour mark because I have to send records and verify that the person has actually submitted and volunteered all 4,000 hours for the Texas Master Naturalist program when I order the pin. So, and then obviously there's a little bit of more leg there because it takes time for the pin to come in to me, about 6 weeks time frame, and then for me to mail it back out again to your chapter. Okay.
Great. Okay. Oh, we didn't lead up like a drum roll to this. So on your screen now is my favorite thing that we've done in the last month, without telling you guys. But we have a Texas Master Naturalist 25th anniversary logo for our 25th year for our that we're going to be using on all of our marketing to celebrate this this next year worth of activity across the state. And this logo has been kind of a little bit of a side passion piece for me and for Michelle as we've been working with a friend of ours who's an artist. So a little bit about our 25th anniversary logo that we'll be putting out there as we share stories from our 25th year. The logo is created by Audrey Tolley. She's a natural resource specialist with Natural Resources Institute at A&M. And we asked her to bring something together that would represent the major ecoregions of Texas relating to our recertification pin, but then also bring in all of our, as many of our historical recertification pins as possible. So you'll notice the butterfly, the side-oats grama, the armadillo, and so on as representatives of previous years' recertification pins. We were not able to get all 25 of them on there. It's less than 25. We weren't able to get all of the recertification pins on there, but we got most of them. And it'll be a great way for us to celebrate the impact that Master Naturalists have had on the state over the last 25 years across all of these species and regions. So we'll be sharing this image on our website. You are the first ones to see this. So we have not even put it out there yet. A little sneak preview for you guys. And hopefully we'll have an idea, some other ways that we can share it with you guys as well. So speaking of our 25th anniversary, now that we have it officially branded with this beautiful logo, we have started we've kind of soft launched our 25th anniversary storytelling project a few weeks ago or a few months ago with Annabelle as she was in her departure phase from the Master Naturalist program. And so Kelly is now on board and is going to be picking up this project. I just noticed that Annabelle's on the call. So Kelly is now going to be picking up this project and really launching into the 25th anniversary storytelling project that we can now brand with this beautiful logo, tell the impact of our individual Master Naturalists, but then also the value that you have on your partners as well. So what is the value that you bring to your local nature centers, state parks, resources areas? And so this will be something that we'll be kicking off. I will drop that link in the chat here in just a second, but please help us to share the word for our 25th anniversary storytelling project. We need you as the leaders of your chapters to help recognize those individuals in your chapters that have good stories to tell, or partners that have good impact stories to tell, and help to connect us to those resources so that we can get them to share those with us. So are there any questions, Michelle? There's been some chat, which is great. I'll share some of the feedback on the pin, on the logo to Audrey.
Yeah, so there's some questions of whether or not there would be members could purchase something with the 25th anniversary, and I mentioned that we might have a pop-up shop for them to order what they want.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a question of a Master Naturalist pen. So yeah, that might be coming in the future.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm in love with the logo, so I'm gonna find lots of places to put it on for sure. All right, rolling into some of our current events. As we've shared in the past, we like to highlight our current webinars, upcoming events that we have with our presidents. So our TMN Tuesday events, we've gotten 2 out of the way, and last month's was epic. As a good way to describe it, it was 2.5 hours long, but how do you stop somebody who's on such a great roll and has so much information to share? So we had a really good TMN Tuesday last month with the ecoregions of Texas, and we're looking forward to this month's as well. Second Tuesday of the month, 1 hour of advanced training, typically are 1 hour, and that is the goal, is to be at 1 hour. However, sometimes when the content is just too good, it just kind of keeps rolling. Watched live or as recordings. So this event calendar is on our website. If you've got any questions, it's on our TMN Tuesday page, and I'll drop that in the chat. Some FAQs, things that we've gotten questions on, and Michelle and I highlighted the top one in green there because we've gotten a few emails on this one. Please help us to share with your members that our TMN Tuesday series are calendar year based series, and so the watching a 2022 TMN Tuesday no longer counts for advanced training for calendar year 2023. It is a calendar year based watch and AT hour record event. So they can watch 2023 series now and count them for AT now until December 31st. So calendar year based series. And these are also open to the public, so y'all can share the webinar announcements on your social media and your newsletters with members of the public as well. What a great way to recruit new Master Naturalists to the fold with these free webinars. Yes, they're recorded. Do you need to register? Yes, you need to register each month, and we actually have now a register for all-in-one link on our page, so you can register for the whole series in advance, and it will send you an email the day before with that link for that webinar. And then how long after you watch it can you log your hours? It's still on the 45-day rule, so 45 days after you watch it, you log that within that calendar year. So if you watch them on December 31st at 11:55 p.m., you log it as watched on December 31st at 11:55 p.m., and you have 45 days to finish that logging. Yeah? I think that's right. Michelle, is that right? Did I get that close? Is anybody going to watch them on just... Okay.
Yeah. Hope they can get it all in 5 minutes.
What a great New Year's. All right, and then last but not least, on our TMN Tuesdays, we did announce this on our listserv, but our March event is our Texas Waters highlight with Melissa Felty as our guest speaker for our March TMN Tuesday event. She's going to tell us about the Texas Waters program and the resources that they have available within their program, the department, opportunities for volunteer and training as well. All right, Michelle, you want to jump in here?
Yes. So I feel like January and February are busy months, but April is busy too. April has a lot going on and a lot of different things going on. And the whole entire month of April is National Volunteer Recognition Month, and that's when we like to celebrate you and our program. Saturday, April 22nd is Earth Day. And that typically culminates on National Volunteer Week. And so National Volunteer Week is April 16th through the 22nd. Another opportunity for you, our program, your chapter, to celebrate your volunteers and the accomplishments you have made as a Texas Master Naturalist and a Master Naturalist program. And then the end of April, running into May 1st, April 28th through May 1st, is our City Nature Challenge. And many of our chapters are involved in their local communities with a City Nature Challenge. And then a huge help that any of our master naturalists can help with is May 2nd through the 7th is typically the identification period for the City Nature Challenge. So everything that's being posted during the City Nature Challenge, if you could help with IDing or identifying things that other people can't, your help would be greatly appreciated to help identify and validate those entries that take place during the City Nature Challenge. And then I know we mentioned some of this during the last meeting, but and you may have had a little bit of time to think about it and talk about it at your local chapter level. What things are you planning for National Volunteer Recognition Month and week in April? Go ahead and drop your ideas in the chat. Or if you have things that you've talked about already,
Michelle,
let us know in the chat.
Michelle, while they're typing things up, one of the things that we're working on with our marketing department at A&M or at the Extension Office is to develop some templates to share with chapters and counties for National Volunteer Week and Month. I'm hopeful to have those within the next couple of weeks to share with you guys. And as soon as I have them, I will send them out, and they will be it'll be a free template on Canva that you could drop in your chapter's name, some kudos and thanks to share on your social media channels for National Volunteer Week and Month. So as soon as I have those resources, I'll share those. That's how I'm planning on celebrating. Oh, Dan's having a cookout at Palo Duro. I want an invite. That sounds fun. Oh, that's great. Well, hopefully you guys are brewing up something great for your chapter. All right, rolling right from April into May. Thanks for the invite, Dan. We have our virtual volunteer fair. This was sent back out again this morning on the listserv, but we have our call for proposals for our virtual volunteer fair open now. What we are asking you as chapter leaders to do is to help share that call for proposals with your local partners. So started during the eras of COVID, the virtual volunteer fair is our opportunity to connect your members and our project partners together on projects that can be done virtually, at a distance, at home, by themselves, or during the hottest months of the year, which are coming up. Doesn't feel like it, but they are. And so
90 tomorrow.
I
think the hot month is here.
So the virtual volunteer fair is that job fair for these opportunities, but it's not a successful event unless we have those projects highlighted on this fair. So please help us share that call for proposals that was sent out on the listserv this morning. Send that to your partners, your agencies, your organizations that you guys work with that may have opportunities on a statewide level. And then the second ask that we have is that you send this to your members to attend once we open up registration for this event. Registration is not open yet. Once we build out the events agenda, then we'll have the registration open up mid-April or so. All right. Anything else on that one, Michelle?
Nope.
Okay.
What was the deadline for proposals?
Deadline for
March
proposals
24th.
is March 24th. So please tell your partners to share their proposals in with that link that I'll drop here in the chat here in a second by March 24th, please. There it is. All right, last but not least on our calendar lineup of things that we're working on at the state office is our annual meeting, October 12th through the 15th. We're excited to go down to McAllen, Texas. Michelle and I hosted our last chapter presidents meeting from McAllen when it was 40 degrees and raining out the whole week. It will not be 40 degrees and raining out the whole week during our annual meeting. It better not be. I don't think it will be. I hope it will not be. We're excited. We're very excited to go down to
Not
McAllen.
at that time.
No. uh, so very, very excited to go down to McAllen. Saw some incredible places that we get to take you. The chapters down there, the South Texas Border chapter and the Rio Grande chapter, are ecstatic to have you guys down in their area. I cannot say enough about how welcoming they were, how helpful they were, and how much energy they've already put into the event, and we haven't even gotten started yet. So get excited, get your members excited to go down to McAllen. They are ready and waiting to welcome you guys into their area. It's going to be an awesome event. So we'll have more resources on that as they become available. All right. Moving into other chapter resources, Michelle, you want to talk about these?
Yep. So we mentioned at our last meeting, we've got a lot of resources here for you that we'll talk about again. Our Master Naturalist website, we try to make this website your go-to place, the first stop for helping you to answer questions, find information about the program that you may not need an answer from us for. So, for example, January and February, Mary Pearl and I have both been on the road traveling a lot with work and haven't been able to answer questions or return phone calls. So we try to make the state website the place for all the information that we know at this point in time. So if you could check the page for any questions to be answered. We also have, for more information, we have our Master Naturalist listserv, which is a statewide listserv. We try to keep information there that's applicable statewide. Sometimes there's some regional things. People use it as a great place to connect with and put information out for several regional chapters at a time. But we try to keep everything that is on the listserv statewide focused. So you can sign up for the listserv. There are instructions on the website to do so. And I get a second.
Actually,
I will.
I'm gonna pull the website up, Michelle. This is off script just a little bit, but some of the questions that are coming in the chat. So a couple places that I always check when I go to the website is I go to Naturalist News. That is where Michelle and I post updates on events or things that are happening. So the virtual volunteer fair is here. Chapter presidents meetings, recordings, and notes get posted here. Storytelling project is here. When we were hiring Kelly, all of that is here. So one of the questions is, where do you get the chapter president's recording? It will be as a post on this Naturalist News within the next couple of hours. Typically the recording takes a few hours for us to download and then re-upload. And so here it is as a YouTube video embedded in here. You can go straight to YouTube, or you can go here, and the notes are also here. The other place that I would go is under the About and Contact. Michelle was talking about the listserv. So that listserv sign up here is before you email us individually, have you checked out the listserv? And this is where you can sign up for the email listserv right here. And then the events page. The events page is something that we are working on revamping a little bit. So Kelly has been working to add events onto the events page so that you can subscribe to this. So here's the president's meeting, and this will tell you that yes, there's a president's meeting today right now. And more events are going to be added onto this as we go along. You can also have your partners can submit calendar events directly to our calendar if they want to as well. That doesn't mean that they're automatically approved for advanced training, but if they want to put them out in front of a statewide audience of Master Naturalists, they can do that with this calendar submissions here. Thank you, Michelle, for letting me go off script.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Keep going.
Reminder that we still have the regional WebEx accounts. I see someone's logged in as Region 5 today. We're keeping these for 2023 again. And this was a resource that came out of the pandemic. to allow our chapters to have a safe virtual option to meet and hold meetings. And just a reminder that if you have questions of how to log in, let me know. I'm not going to share the login information kind of online and in recording here, but let me know if you still have questions about getting logged in or using a regional account. And then the second reminder on the WebEx accounts, actually there's 2 more reminders. So 3 reminders total. Second reminder is when you are using the WebEx account, the first thing that you do is look at the calendar or the calendar that's there to make sure that you're not going to schedule a meeting on top of another chapter's meeting. So look at the calendar as far out as you can, even if you, especially when you're scheduling recurring meetings. And then lastly, the third reminder is I have to go into the account every month, typically around between the 1st and the 5th of the month, to delete anything that's older than a month old. So WebEx records the meetings that happen there. And then it's the chapter's responsibility to download the recording if you want it as soon as possible after your meeting takes place. Otherwise, I do have to go in there every month and delete anything that's older than a month, or else our platform gets our cloud storage gets so backed up that we're not able to. When there's too much there, we're not able to record anymore. So we need to try and keep that clean. So just a reminder to chapters, if you're using the accounts, to go in and download your meetings that you want immediately following or within 24 hours. So that, and then if you once you've downloaded it and you're sure that you've got it where you want it, go ahead and delete it. If it's your meeting and you've downloaded it, go ahead and delete it and help keep that account clean. Otherwise, if it's a month older, I will delete it for you.
Okay. Next on the web, a few months in the making, we are now hosting regular monthly webinars on WordPress training. And so our first one is going to kick off March 7th at 12 o'clock noon. And I believe that they will be recurring monthly after that. I'm still working to secure a final schedule with our web team over here at Extension to host these trainings. These are open to anybody in your chapter. I did send this out to all of our chapter presidents and those listed on VMSs as web something. So web masters or web hosts for your chapter. So please make sure that the invite gets into the hands of the right person. But again, they are open to everybody. So anybody that you want to cross-train to learn how to do their website, this is a great way for them to get a little extra training. It'll be a 45-minute presentation on web accessibility. Somebody asked earlier, what is web accessibility? That is where you intentionally design your website for those who have accessibility issues on the internet. So that is putting things in easy to reach buttons, having back text or alt text on an image so that when they scroll over it, it reads off the name of that image, and you are adding in tags for those that are using say a reader software or may have colored differences with being able to see on your website. So a great way to kind of think through how you are designing your website so that everybody can utilize it in the best function ever. They are going to be recorded. The recordings will be posted on a website. I don't have the website yet, but as soon as they're recorded, we will get that out there. So again, it's been a while since we've hosted these, and I'm excited to have the web team working with us again. Next update on resources from the state level is our AgriLife Learn website, our store with all of our shirts and hats. We just finished out the promotional 20% off coupon for a lot of our shirts and jackets. So that's closed, I believe, today, or if it was yesterday maybe. and I have a restock order in process right now. I didn't get that restock order off before I had some travel on my calendar last week and then later this week. And so it may not be a restock order placed until next week. So it'll be March, April before we get a full restock in the store. Next update on state resources, as we report every month to our chapter presidents, our license plate. So these are sold via the DMV's website, and I try to report to you guys on a quarterly basis number of plates sold. I will actually ask for our quarterly update tomorrow on March 1st, and then at the next president's meeting I will share that with you guys on our total number of plates sold to date. So please help us spread this word out there. It helps to provide additional funds back to the Master Naturalist program. And it's fun seeing them around. I went to a chapter's training last week, and I knew I was in the right parking lot because I saw the license plates. All right, and then last but not least is a state resource, our endowment. So we started our endowment in 2016 as a way to fundraise and develop our perpetual funding source for the Master Naturalist program, to provide that sustainability and future planning for the Master Naturalist program to continue to roll and build for that longevity factor for our program. So please help us to share that with your Master Naturalist friends and family as well. All right, and Michelle, running through the slides, we're kind of now at the end, and I realize that we're about 20 minutes early on our 1 hour presentation today, but we do have a little bit of an opportunity to answer some questions. I saw some in the chat that we can answer now.
Yeah, the one that I remember real quickly was how many chapters do 2 trainings a year? And if you're a chapter that does 2 trainings a year, go ahead and put that in the chat, or just come off mic and let us know.
There we go. Okay. Michelle, there's some more questions coming in the chat. Do you want me to answer those now?
Yes, go ahead, because I'm scrolling up.
Okay.
Others.
So one of the questions that came in at the bottom of the chat is, does the $22 for the plates go to the state chapter only? So right now, the proceeds from the license plate are actually being rolled into the endowment to help build that snowball. The faster we can build that snowball, the more that we can then pull off of that account. We're still working on figuring out what the next steps are for those proceeds after that first 800 plates get sold.
One question that was further up in the chat earlier in our meeting, there was a question. Oh my gosh, now it's going to escape me. There was a question about, I guess, a comment from a chapter who had a school that they regularly volunteer with is now requiring a deeper or more involved background check that requires a social security number. And the only thing I want to mention on that is our Master Naturalist program does an annual background check on our volunteers. It's something all of our volunteers agree to as part of the program and in the system. If it helps you or this chapter in that situation, we do have a process where like a card can be developed in the system for you to show to this school that you have had a background check through the agency and through the program. It might help in that situation, but there are instructions that are in your VMS administrators at your local level can help you with in producing that card. So the information that is needed to produce that card for you and for your profile in VMS is already there. It's just a few clicks and procedures that your local VMS admin needs to take in order to produce that. And then if your local VMS admin is not able to do that, contact our VMS help desk team. And that's, you can find them through the website under four chapters, and they can help further if you're not able to do that at your local level. So yes, schools may be requiring more of a background check now.
Here's a good question that came in, and there's some answers already being shared in the chat. Does your chapter require trainees to attend or make up all of your initial training sessions, or do you offer more sessions than are required? So more than the 40 hours of basic training. And it looks like there's quite a few chapters who offer more than the 40 hours of basic training to allow for that flexibility. There we go. Great. Somebody asked about what we have on the screen here. Does the $5,000 limit on contracts include received grants? Yeah. So the reason why we've put this up here on this slide is it was something that was brought up last time. As your chapter, if your chapter is entering into a contract over $5,000, please don't sign that until you have review and approval from our state office. But if you receive a grant or an award of a $5,000 or really of any amount, we want to know about it. So if you're receiving $5,000 as a grant, an award, let Michelle and I know so that we can share and celebrate with you guys and your accomplishments as well. So received grants of $5,000, please tell us, and we can hoop and holler for you as well.
So there's a question in the chat about, once a trainee hits 40 hours, can the extra hours go towards certification? No. Any initial training hours are initial training hours only. They cannot be counted as any other type of hours in the program.
Basic training is basic training.
Some chapters choose to also include advanced training events and topics and time in their schedule and agenda. That has to be designated as such. So the model that some chapters have done is that they have made their agenda and schedule for the training class as such that the training class, the initial training, offers not only all of their initial training topics, but opportunities for all of their advanced training, and then opportunities for all of their service time as part of the schedule for the class. So that would be at least 40 hours of initial training, at least 8 hours of advanced training, and at least 40 hours of service time. So essentially, as a training class, you would be offering at least 88 hours of something, some type of.
Yeah, basic training is basic training for me. And then skipping one of those questions, but going to one that's slightly related, can a chapter add criteria to the TMN requirement, certification, or recertification for that chapter? I.E. attending chapter meetings? No. Maintaining Master National certification is strictly outlined in our current bylaws and our current CMOP. So there is no changing, adapting, addition to that.
Yeah, so basically what the criteria are to obtain certification and be a Master Naturalist in any of our chapters is the same across the board. So it's not different from one chapter to another.
And then Terry asked an interesting question, Michelle, and you and I have talked about this one before. If a board member holds 2 positions on the board, do they get 2 votes? So if you've got 2 director level positions, do they get 2 individual votes? We've talked about it from the other way around, where you might have a co-chair. So if you have a say
I
volunteers.
actually have a detailed question on this. So what are the positions? Are they a director position or are they a committee chair position? Are they executive board position? Like you shouldn't have a person on the executive board serving double positions.
Hi, yes, this is Terry. We have one board member who holds the immediate past president, and he's also the IT director, which is a full director position in our chapter. And so the question is, does he get 2 votes? That one person. So they're both full director positions, but none of them are elected.
That I gotta think through that one a little bit, Terry.
Okay, that would be great.
Personally, I need to look at the chapter governing documents for that.
Yeah. Yeah, we've looked at it from the other way around.
I mean, that's one of the specific reasons why we've identified who's a director and who's not. Like what is considered a director and what's a board member.
And so, Michelle, we've talked about it the other way around, where if you have co-directors or you have 2 people who are helping host one position, that's still only 1 vote of that position. So it's not 2. So if you have like co-directors of volunteer service, as an example, that position holds 1 vote, not 2 individual people voting.
Right. This one's a little bit different.
That is different. It's the other way around. Okay. There's a few more questions, but before we get into those, there are just a few more slides. And I do like having this open discussion period. It puts Michelle and I on the spot just a little bit, answering some of these questions. But we do have a calendar check as our kind of wrap up slide for y'all, with some of our upcoming dates. Our next president's meeting will be March 28th. And we've got quite a few things happening in March between now and then. So our WordPress training next week, our TMN Tuesdays on the 14th, and then our virtual volunteer fair deadline on the 24th. So just wanted to share that with y'all. And a question that came up a little while ago, I don't know when, the asterisks on this calendar here, our July president's meeting is being moved up to match with the TMN Tuesday, so that will be a joint TMN Tuesday and president's meeting. Our December, the same thing, it's being moved up from the last Tuesday to the second Tuesday alongside the TMN Tuesday as a joint event. And then our October president's meeting will happen at the annual meeting that Thursday, and we'll be sending out details and logistics for that event as it gets closer. So with that, if y'all are ready to get back outside and enjoy what is a nice day, at least here where I'm at, it's 72 out, not 90 degrees as Michelle says that it's about to be in her area, we can let y'all go and adjourn. Otherwise, Michelle and I will stick around for a few more minutes and try and answer some questions. And we'll have the recording on the website, if not by the end of the day, first thing tomorrow morning. Thank you guys. We appreciate it. Michelle, if you want to stop the recording.